Hey guys, I'm here to talk about my build I found. I will link the video where I saw it recently and made it my own. And one of the moms is playing Lightning Spear or like a Lich build. And I've been seeing this come up more often. But I'm using the Whirling Slash. So I am using a Ritualist, which I'll explain later. And I am also stat stacking. I do have max resist, but it is still kind of squishy. You can make it more tankier, but I went for the glass cannon approach. And I'll be talking about the gear right now. There are 3 things you really need in this build. Everything else is nice to have. But we need the Tingle Tongue, the Hawa, and Wake of Destruction. The Tingle Tongue is just pretty cheap. I mean, for this it's not cheap, but I found it like this. But you don't need like a max crit one, but we are building crit. If you cannot afford it, you can use a Flying Spear because it has really high attack speed. You need attack speed to move faster, but you need like a really good Flying Spear. Tingle Tongue are just cheaper for the investment. For the helmet, I went for this. Here you want to build up your defenses like your resist, life, energy shield. And then you can focus on crit. And then once you're good, get some rarity if you want to. And next I have the focus. I like the focus for the high energy shield, the lightning damage, the resist, and the mana regen. Before I was using the Omen Scepter. I did lose some defensive stuff like Ghost Dance. But I don't really need it. The Omen Scepter is pretty nice, but I mean, I'd rather just have a focus. You get more out of it. If you are dying a lot, you can switch back to the Omen Scepter and get some more skills with extra spirit. Next is the Moria Invictus. So I got this one, and yeah, we are stat stacking. So I went for attributes, chaos resist, and resist. If you cannot afford this or find something like this, find a regular rare chest and just get your resist here. Your resist, life, energy shield. Next is the Hawa. These are still pretty cheap. But basically we are stat stacking like I said. So with this build, we need Dex to move fast. And we need Int to do damage. It is a fine balance, which I'll get into later on. But you gotta find your happy medium. For the belt, we have the Ingenuity. You don't really need this, but I went for like glass cannon approach. So I want to do more damage. Basically kill them before they kill me. If you cannot afford this or don't like it, you can use a regular rare belt and just build resist here. I wanted to get a headhunter for mapping because this is mostly a mapping build. But they're so expensive, like 20 divs. This still can do bosses okay. I've been working on it, but I can't really improve it much more. And lastly, we have the boots, the Wake of Destruction. So these drop like electric stuff on the ground. See here, these like electric, shocks. But basically what we're gonna do is drop down a Rolling Slash. And then this Rolling Slash picks up the electric on the floor. I'll explain more later on. But basically that's why we want it. But you just swap this in when you first enter the map. And then you summon a Whirlwind. And then you can switch off to some other boots like I have. I switched to these boots. Your move speed does not matter at all. Your move speed comes from your dex. So I chose these boots because extra mana, rarity, and then the rest of my resists. So I chose a Ritualist because we do have an extra ring slot. And thanks to my engine, I have an extra like 30% on left and right ring, pretty much. I'll go over here first, the left ring. So we want flat fizz and flat lightning. And then, you know, some defense. And then all this gets multiplied by 30% from the belt. And then I threw in rarity just because I wanted some more drops. And on the right, it's pretty similar. Flat fizz, flat lightning, resist. And I went for mana regen because I was having mana issues. It's really nice to have, but you don't really like need mana regen. And for the third ring, again, flat fizz, flat lightning, and then we want mana regen. Rarity if you can afford it, but the most important thing is flat fizz and flat lightning on 2 or 3 rings. And mana regen we really want it. And lastly, I was gonna save up for this, but I ended up chancing my first ever Stella and I got an Astra. It had a 50 attribute at first, and then I used 2 divs and it got like 93. And then yeah, I put in Storm Charge and then valid it. And yeah, I'm so happy. Anyways, enough about that. But we're allocating Storm Charge because we want the quick chance. And then the Elemental is nice too because we are critting, so we are getting the elemental damage too if we don't kill it. Now for the skills. We do have Ritual Sacrifice, which I don't really use. And Blood Boil is from the passive skill tree. Right over here. I don't really know how it works, really. I'll explain more on this later. Anyways, we want 2 Whirling Slashes. First one is for DPS. If you can, you want to 5-slot at this. I know it's pretty expensive, but trust me, you really want it. First skill is Martial Tempo. So, more attack speed means we move faster. Concentrated effects, so we do more damage. Inspiration, because we are going to be spamming the skill to move. Bullseye for more accuracy. And then I put in Heft for more damage. I was using Primal Armament, but put them on Primal Strikes, which I'll get to later. You know, for the second Whirling Slash, it's just to like buff up when you first enter a map. Or when you lose your Whirlwind. So we have Expanse, so it's just bigger. It is a second cooldown, but you only cast it once when you enter a map. And then we have Reach, so it's also bigger. Magnify effects, again. We want to make this as wide as possible. And for the third one, we have Font of Rage. Basically just gives us more damage. And it stays as long as we're like inside the Whirlwind, which we do carry with us. And on the video, I was using Rapid Assault to like debuff the enemy, and then I changed some skills, but yeah, this skill is pretty much dead. I don't like this skill. The next skill is Primal Strikes, which is our boss killing skill or elite killing skill. This was from my Lightning Amazon build, but I basically just copied over here. Again, you do want 5 sockets. 4 is fine, but 5 will make a big difference. If you have 4 sockets, you can take out Blindside. Otherwise, get Close Combat, Lightning Infusion, Primal Armament, and Elemental Focus. So the thing here is, we do want very high crit rate. I find that around like 70 is okay. 80, it feels like it pretty much always crits. But I am sacrificing some crit rate for crit damage. But the damage comes from the spirits, not really like the Primal Strikes itself. So the spirit procs when you use Primal Strikes against an enemy or boss. And you see like a bunch of like deers come out like in a wave. That's the spirits. And since we are carrying a lightning infused Whirling Slash, I basically just use a Whirling Slash on the boss, and it pretty much shocks it. And then I just spam my Harmless Strikes to like... I don't know how many there is, but like 5+ gears come out. And then I reapply my Whirling Strikes to shock again and just spam that. And then the build from the video used Trinity, which I also don't like. I mean, I also don't have enough spirit. But I didn't really notice the difference when I was using it. Next is Herald of Thunder. So you don't really need the Herald. I mean, it does help with the mob clears a little bit. So we want Innervate. Soul Thief, which honestly I don't even notice it. But I had a free slot. Neural Overload. And Electrocute. Next is Wind Dancer. I have Vitality for HP regen. And Clarity for mana regen. And lastly we have Ghost Dance. Just fast forward. So for the passive tree, we are using the Ritualist. First to come down here for the reduced max mana. We are really spirit gated, so we don't want to take this. And we don't want to die, so we don't want this. But with mana regen, it should be fine taking this. Unfurl Finger for the extra ring slot. Attributes for more attributes. And then Mystic Attunement, again for the rings and amulet. So you really need good accessories for this build, ideally. So stat stacking and of course the engine makes it like extra valuable. And then right over here, I mean I don't use the skill, but I got it for mostly the move speed. And then right over here for the physical damage and Blood Boil just cause it's there. I don't have a mobile analytics or anything because I don't know how to use one. But I'll go over the skill tree. So basically for these like stats, I go between like dex and ints. I go for like a fine balance, which I'll explain later on. But we go over here. There is like attack speed and attack damage here, but there's more valuable things to take. So I took this route to save some points here. But we do want Primal Instincts for the attack speed and area. And then we go over here, this crossroad. So the jewels, I'm gonna start off with something like this, like crit rate. And if you can afford area effects or crit damage, that's nice too. But aim for crit rate. And then later on, when you have like around 70 crit rate, you can go for crit damage. And then once you're like pretty much one-shotting mobs, you can switch to attack speed. And then, you know, attack speed and chance to shock is pretty good too, because we do want to shock. If you don't have high lightning damage, you do want this chance to shock. But if your lightning damage is pretty good, then you don't need this. Just go for crit damage. So have a attack speed and attack speed with spears somehow. And damage. It's a good gem. Anyways. I'm going for attack speed because I already one-shot mobs. These are in no order, by the way. And then we go over here for the melee damage and attack speed. Mostly the attack speed. And then we go over here to Falcon Technique because we are stat stacking. I have a fat like 443 dex. So that's a lot of attack speed. And then we go down here and we take the Herald. 50% lightning damage with Herald, which we do have, so it's pretty massive. Tried doing this build without it, and it's still okay, but this makes it like so much countable. I mean, it's only like 3 skill points, and we do need crit, so I'll take all the skill tree for the crit. 25 crit here, crit chance here, and then crit damage here, and some strength. Again, another jewel. Attack speed for me. And over here, we want crit damage. Only grab this if you're like around 70-80 crit rate. Because you will lose some. But if you allocate Storm Charge, that basically cancels it out. Which is why I use it. And then we go for Wild Storm for more lightning damage. This is optional, but I find that it really helps me out with bossing mostly, but mobbing, not so much. So this top half is kind of optional. Down here, we have acceleration for move and skill speed, so we can move faster. Duck and dive for more attack speed. So we need dex for accuracy and accuracy for attack speed. And problem strikes, for example, is like 4,000. And basically, we've got this whole like spear pretty much. Everything is good. We don't really need the accuracy over here. And this jewel over here, I have crit damage and mana regen. And area is nice too. We need a lot of mana regen. And we go all the way over here to versatile arms because the attack speed. There's also attack speed along the way too. And over here, I mean, we get a lot of crit rate here. This is where the bulk of my crit rate comes from. Mostly this one. And then sand in the eyes. Mostly for the attack speed. And then blind. So, mostly the attack speed, yeah. And down here, we have Jack of all trades. Which is why you need like a lot of stats. You want your stats to be pretty even. Luckily I have my Astra. But without it, I mean, it's not as good. The build is still doable, but I just wouldn't probably take this node. And lastly, we have Polymanthi for more attributes. And over here, I've got the extra node for more attack speed. Since I will be 90 soon, I need 2 more points. So I'm probably gonna grab this elemental damage and then this one over here too. So basically how the build works is you put on your shoes, your Wake of Destruction. What I do is I throw down a Whirling Slash to level 1. And then you walk a little bit. And I see now it's lightning infused. Then I swap boots. And then with the DPS one, your higher level 1, you just hold it down. That's it. If you, like, let's say dodge your enemy, you don't have it anymore. So just put on your boots again, level 1, walk around a bit, and swap back to boots. So the fine balance is, when you use your higher level Whirling Slash, you basically want to see it like dip a little bit. That's my like happy medium. Right here. See, it's dipping down like a little bit. I do have a lot of mana regen from my rings. But yeah, it's very valuable in this build. And the focus too. So in the skill tree I mentioned like balancing out your stats. For me, this is what I have. Like my dex is a bit higher than my ints. Just because my items are pretty good. So you do have to spend some gold. I spent like around a mil just playing around. But yeah, keep checking your stats until like it dips down like a little bit like this. Remember that for the Hawa, it's every 20 stat increments. So that's why I chose like 440. If I had like 450, then it doesn't really do anything for me. So I try to keep it in the like the 20 stat increment or threshold. So if you have too much dex, you attack too fast and your mana drains too fast. Too much ints and you attack too slow. Again, just find the balance. For me, this is what works for my build. So I do have 2 maps to show off. One is like a really annoying T15, and one is a tier 16. I'll show them off, and then that'll be the end of the video. Let me know what you think, and good luck.